Hi everybody, we are in No Man's Sky, and it is another fishing video because they've added fishing to No Man's Sky, and the only thing better than normal fishing is space fishing. So anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to just kind of get fishing started and some of the basics on what I've learned since the release of the Aquarius update. So I'm on the Space Anomaly, and if you're not going to do the Aquarius Expedition, or if you want to unlock fishing on a character not from the Expedition, you need to come to the Anomaly, and you're going to go to two different places. First, you're going to come over here to the exosuit research, and he's got a new research item, the Skiff. So you want to purchase this for 90 nanites, and this is the little fishing platform that you can deploy, which is kind of fun. So that is the first thing you want to unlock, and the next thing you want to unlock is multi-tool, because the fishing rod is an addition to your multi-tool, and it is right here. Fishing rig, 1 nanite. So you come here, unlock that, and now you're going to want to build those, and once you get the fishing rod, it unlocks 5 bait recipes. We'll talk about that briefly here in a minute, but you're going to want to add the exo skiff, and we will explain how that works shortly. And then over here, we want to add the fishing rig. Let's make some carbon nanotubes. So they're pretty easy to craft. They're very inexpensive. You need some of the stuff from underwater. And now I'll show you real quick what the Expedition awards that you unlock. The Expedition is definitely worth doing. It is a lot of fun, a good introduction to fishing, and it unlocks some cool awards that will help you for your other characters when you go fishing. So let me show you guys what you unlock. So you unlock this cool angler's armor set. It's this deep sea armor, which looks pretty dope. I'll show you on my other character here in a second. You unlock the Lost Angler's rig, which is a better version of the fishing rod. So it works exactly the same as the fishing rod. I think it looks cooler, but also it might give you a bonus or something. I'm not really 100% sure, but it looks neat. You get some posters. You get the Aquarius banner with the awesome, creepy octopus guy. You get an adorable tentacle figurine for your spaceship, for inside any of your ships, which is hilarious. Another decal, and that's about it. So, like I said, the awards are pretty cool, and they look neat, but not necessary to learn how to fish and for fishing in general, which I will get into here in a moment. Okay, so I have switched over to my survival character because he unlocked more stuff, and I just wanted to show you guys some of the basics on fishing. This is what that cool aquatic armor set you get from the Aquarius Expedition, it looks like. Looks pretty neat. I like it. So let's first go through the skiff. So the fishing skiff is a neat little add-on to your exosuit. You can see it right here. And the way you summon it is just like summoning one of your ships or one of your exocraft. You go to the summon menu here, and it appears right there. You put it over water, and then it deploys itself. So you can customize the appearance. Just change the color of it, but then it also has this cold storage. So it has 10 slots that you can put bait or fish in. You can put food and stuff like that in there too, I think, but bait and fish is clearly what it's meant to do. Now, this is very similar to an exocraft in that it stays here. It doesn't come with you. You don't need to pack it up. It just exists as part of your character, so when you deploy it elsewhere, it still has everything inside of it, just like an exocraft. It doesn't move. It does not provide protection against the elements, so keep that in mind. And when the waves get a little choppy, like they're starting to now, the skiff will also move with the waves, which can also cause you to kind of fall off. So if you're standing like right on the edge and a big wave hits, you'll definitely slide off of the exoskip, or the skiff, I'm sorry. So it's cool for being able to just plop it down in the middle of the ocean if you want to fish from, but it doesn't provide any, protection from the elements. Provides some basic storage, so it's a neat ad. I really like it. It's not too buff or too crazy, but it's just kind of a fun little thing to plop down and go do some fishing from. Okay, so now let's talk about how to fish. So your fishing rod will be added to your multi-tool. So this is the Lost Angler's rig, which is the upgraded fishing rod that you get from the Expedition, and you equip it just like you do any part of your multi-tool. By the mouse keyboard, you hit G, you switch between your stuff, and there's the angler rig. So now you'll see that it's got a little target that places on water, and so what you do to fish is you just hold down left mouse and cast, and now you're gonna wait. You see some little fish there. These are representative of actual fish, so it will strike from there. You see it's starting to strike, and once it grabs like that, you just hold down left click until you catch it. And there you go. I caught a common warty frogfish. So now you'll notice that when it gets a strike, the fishing line will change color. You'll also notice that the fish doesn't always immediately strike. Like it doesn't immediately pull the line. It'll like give you these kind of test bites. If you reel it in during that, you won't get the fish and you'll lose any bait that's attached to it. You see how the line changed color, and now it hit 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. He's just messing with me at this point. So you'll notice what happened is when he actually gave a strike, the line lost all slack. He pulled the line. So that's what you're looking for. Don't worry about the fish. Don't pay attention to that. Don't pay attention to how many times your little bobber will go up and down. Don't worry about that. Just wait until the line goes tight, and then left click, hold down left click, and you reel it in. There's no mini game. That's the only challenge to it, and the only thing you're really losing is bait, if you have any bait on the line, which we'll get into in a second. But you just hold down left click to cast, and wait for a fish to strike, and then hold down left click to pull it in. We'll do it one more time here, just to show you guys. So that time he struck right away, the first time. And those strikes are not indicative of any, like the number of strikes aren't indicative of how rare the fish is, or like I caught an uncommon one in this case. But it doesn't indicate, like, oh, it struck right away, so I'm going to get a better fish. However, I have noticed that the length of time you need to reel the fish in is indicative of the size of the fish. Not the rarity of the fish, but the size of a fish. So a bigger fish will require longer to hold down left mouse to reel it in. That's all I've noticed. So as far as the actual act of fishing goes, it's actually pretty easy compared to a lot of games. Like I said, there's no mini game, there's no struggle, there's no skill or challenge involved. Really, apart from just casting your line and pulling in fish. So let's take a look at some of the different kinds of fish. So I've got some in my cold storage here, and as you can see, fish are rated just like everything else in the game. S tier, A tier, B tier, and C tier. And that's indicative of the rarity of the fish. So, and then the general value. It's generally an indicator of how valuable the fish is. So I've got a couple A tier fish, or oysters and turtles in this case. I've got some B tier fish and some C tier fish. The S tiers you're going to catch in the Expedition. You need to. They're really rare, and you definitely need to use some special bait to get those. You don't need to, but your chances go way up with getting it. So, yeah. So once you have the fish, you can do a couple different things with them. You can cook them, I haven't really experimented with all the different. I mean, this game has so many food options. I haven't really dived into how fish apply to that. But you can cook them, and I'm assuming there's a whole bunch of cool recipes. They have indicated that food items used as bait can produce different results.
Incoming storm.
So you can cook them. So that's one of the things you can do with them. Obviously, you can sell them. So the moon turtle sells for 20 grand. It's not bad. For something that essentially doesn't cost you any resources to get, you know, that's kind of neat. It's not a ton of money. You're not going to make a fortune doing it, but if you want to do fishing and just sell them, you'll definitely make some money at it. But it's definitely not going to make you rich or anything. Okay, and then the last thing that you can do with your fish is release them back into the water. So if you look at your fish while they're in your inventory, you'll see it has the option to release fish. So we're going to go ahead and hold down, hit E to do that. You got to hold down E. And then it releases, you see you chuck the fish into the water, which is kind of funny. Now you'll notice I received 26 nanites for that. And that was a C tier. So let's do it again. Chuck the fish into the water, 17 nanites. Cool. And let's try the B tier. 106. So that's better than the money, in my opinion, as far as the value of fish and what your fish are going to get you. I mean, that was, you know, almost 200 nanites from 3 fish, and those were 3 pretty shitty fish. So I have not released any A tier because or S tier because I'm too nervous to do that, but I'll definitely do that once I catch one, and we'll see what kind of value you get. But it looks like a pretty decent value as far as nanites go. If you don't want to, you know, grind mold all the time, then this is kind of a fun, different way to get nanites, and a decent amount, like not a ton, but still, again, I think it would be moderately worth it to do that. So let's talk about the different kinds of fish that we're going to deal with here. So if you go to your catalog, they've added fish under the wonders. So you click wonders here, and then you'll notice this new thing down here at the bottom, fishing records. So this is a record of all the different fish you can catch, and look at how many there are. Also, not fish, like an old boot or rusted technology, which gives you an actual like technology upgrade, which is kind of funny. And then messages in the bottle, which are primarily part of the expedition, but you can see there's a ton of fish. Which is cool, because, you know, if you want to go try and catch everything, you got to catch them all, right? So the different fish are, apart from the rarity of the fish, they also have different traits that some of them require. And you'll notice most of these are, you know, just uncommon or rare or whatever, but you'll notice some of them, like the moon turtle says, will only rise to the surface during the night. And let's see if I got. Whoop. So this one, the blue rim and tail, can only be caught during a storm, and this one's only active at daylight hours. During the night, daylight hours, and then you'll see some of them are specific to. Like this one says, adapted to the high temperature waters of scorched worlds. Now, these I caught in the expedition. I have not caught them with this character, but you'll see it. This is for your account, basically. When you unlock them, you can at least see what they are, which is kind of cool. I appreciate that. But the magma shark, for example, high temperature waters of scorched worlds. So, in addition to the rarity of the fish, you know, S, A, B, C, uncommon, common, rare, that kind of thing. You also have the time of day, the type of planet, and during a storm, and a couple, you know, those are kind of other factors that apply into what kind of fish you're going to catch. So in the expedition, they do a good job of sending you to a bunch of different worlds to try and catch different kinds of fish. But all of those things come into play, meaning you can't just keep fishing the same planet and hope to get the same kind of fish, right? Here's one of the legendaries I caught with my expedition character. So all those variables come into play, which require you to travel to multiple different planets if you want to try and catch all the different fish. The ice fin is only found in icy waters. And then that leads you to have to deal with, different environments and different weather and that kind of thing. So it kind of poses a little bit of a challenge to go to those planets, find those worlds, stuff like that. One other factor that's applied, you see that it says found only in the deepest of waters. The depth that you're fishing in is relevant. And so right here, it gets pretty deep. I'm pretty sure when it says deep water, it means 30 meters or deeper, which is pretty deep. But if you go to your catalog, you'll be able to find a record of the planet with the deepest oceans. And just go to there and go out to the spots that have the deepest oceans and start fishing there. So as you can see, there's a huge variation in what kinds of fish you're going to get. And one of the ways to try and ensure that you capture those fish is with bait. So these are the 5 kinds of bait that you unlock. You can also use food. You can also use other fish. So you can catch the fish. I use the fish to catch the fish. But bait seems to provide the best kind of, at least intro way to do it. I haven't messed, there's so much food in this game. I haven't messed with what food is good for what fish and that kind of thing. But you get mealworms, which is kind of a generic bait. Mealworms require condensed carbon to craft. The magpulse lure requires magnetic resonators, metal plating to craft. And these are attracting fish that are only active during storms, so you don't need to be in a storm to attract storm fish. You have the dangling orb, which requires solar mirrors and metal plating, diurnal fish. You have spicy chum, which improves the size and rarity of your catch. And then finally the shadow lure, which is designed to attract nocturnal fish. There is one more kind of bait, and that's the bionic lure. The bionic lure is the best bait. You can see that it requires 3 lubricant though, so it's not easy to craft. Like, you need to definitely farm for the mats to build that, and it's pretty, it's a little intensive as far as resources go, but it's provided the best increase in chance to catch fish. So let's talk about using bait. So what you do is you go to your multi-tool and left click, and it brings up bait. So then this allows you to click on here, and it pulls up anything in your inventory that you can use as bait. And you'll see I can also use carbon, condensed carbon, chromatic metal, that kind of thing. So anything in your inventory that allows you to, that will count as bait, you can do here. You can also click on your starship or your freighter if you've got anything in there. So then what you do is you just drag that over here, and now you'll see that the bait is mealworms. The catch rarity improvement is 20%. Catch size improvement is only 2%. So that means I have a 20% increase in chance to catch a rarer fish, but only a 2% to increase the size. So then you put this back in your inventory to remove it, and then add something else. We'll just go through these real quick. Spicy chum, 54% rarity, only 2% for size. Dangling orbs, 24%, 2%, but also attracts diurnal fish. So that's kind of a little bit of an option. This one is the same, but with nocturnal fish. And then the magpulse lure, same thing, but with storm. Let's go ahead and click on these and see what they do. So carbon, not really a big deal there. Slight increases in size. And condensed carbon, a little better than regular carbon. Finally, chromatic metal, a little better. So again, I have not gone through all the different kinds of baits. I'm going to do that and grind that out a little bit and see what kind of the best baits are and that kind of thing, to give you an idea of hopefully track down some of the best baits. But again, that bionic lure is real good. That one is what I use to catch the legendaries in the expedition. So it's definitely worth crafting if you want those really rare fish. So that's the basics of fishing. Some cool ads, a fun little kind of addition to the game. I very much enjoyed it, but you know me, I love all those stupid fishing games. The Skiff is kind of a fun little thing, and it's a new way to get money, a new way to get nanites. You've got to catch them all Pokemon kind of style achievement if you want to try and run around the universe collecting fish, which is what I plan on doing. But I've really enjoyed it. The expedition is definitely worth it. I say go for it. It was a shorter expedition than normal. Probably only took me about 4 to 5 hours to complete, and I kind of dawdle a little. I don't really power run them or anything. So, you know, normal expeditions take me about 8 to 10 hours. This one only took me about 4 to 5. So it's definitely worth it. Also, this armor looks dope. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm going to go fishing and experiment with all the different baits and different planets and try and catch everything I can. So very excited that this was added. Hopefully that helps. If you guys have any questions on fishing or find any special tricks, let me know. And we'll talk to you later.